Hey, hey, welcome or welcome back. It is, as always, good to see you today. Hello, Fiona's mom. I hope you're doing well. Hello, wife. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're both having an amazing day. It is Friday, woo, before a long weekend here in the US. So I just got back. I got back late last night from Kentucky for work. I was just there for one day, and I got back very, very late. I'm a little tired today, but but since I was out of town, I have a couple of Amberlynn videos we need to catch up on together here. So, um, yeah, I hope you all have good plans for the weekend. If you're going out of town, visiting family, doing whatever, if you're off work on Monday, that'd be great. But let's change screens here. There we go. All righty. Okay, so Amberlynn's video from Wednesday, her weigh-in video. Excuse me, sorry. We have this video here titled Diabetes Results, an Unexpected Unfortunate Diagnosis, Weigh-In Episode 9. So, is she diabetic now, or what's going on? I guess we'll find out here, of course. I don't know why my camera, I don't want to turn it too much because um, there is the sun coming in the window. We'll go with that. Although now it's a little lopsided. There we go. Hey Mars, how you doing? Hope you're having a lovely day. Your weekend is beginning already. All right, if you happen to be new here, I do speed Amberlynn up to 1.25 speed because she does speak a little too slowly for me. So we're gonna boost that a smidge, and we're gonna make sure she's unmuted. Get this audio turned on because I have to turn it off when I'm gaming. And all right, we are off.
Hey guys, welcome to a new weigh-in video. I feel like I kind of have a lot of things to talk about, so let's jump right into the 5 questions.
Okay, can you guys hear her okay? Oops, sorry for that. Boing, boing, boing. Wait, what 5 questions she jumps into? Oh, I guess I'm already forgetting what she does each week because she does all these different questions and things in all of her videos. They're starting to run together.
Hey guys, welcome to a new weigh-in video. I feel like I kind of have a lot of things to talk about, so let's jump right into the 5 questions. So for the 5 questions, I get them on Instagram. I post a little...
Oh, that's right. She does weight-related questions on Instagram. I don't check her Instagram very often. I don't really keep up with it as much as I should. The choker looks like it's further down on her neck than it usually is, maybe. I just spit everywhere. I don't know if her choker position is different.
thing on my story that says, ask me any questions that are weight, food, health related. And then I gather them. And I even have a list of like backup questions. Why were you so proud of yourself for not weighing in daily? So food isn't the only relationship that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to also work on the relationship with my vaping. That's why I've quit that, even though I have highly relied on it. And I'm working on my relationship with the scale because I can become extremely obsessed with it. Like there are times where I will literally weigh myself multiple times a day. And this is extremely...
Yeah, that's a bit much. Yeah, weighing yourself multiple times a day is a little obsessive. Hey, Lizzie, you didn't get a notification? Make sure you have the bell clicked. Because I know sometimes even whenever I'm subscribed to a channel and I have the notification set to all, I still don't get notifications. It's very annoying. I don't know. Liz text. Yeah, make sure just make sure you have the bell ring and it's set to all or whatever instead of custom or whatever it is. Because even Even channels that I have the bell selected on and have all, I still don't get notifications. Oh no, there's been an accident. That's not good, Fiona's mom. I hope they're okay.
Unhealthy because I will see a normal fluctuation that happens to everybody, and I will take that fluctuation and it'll trigger me and spiral me, and sometimes it'll cause me to overeat or emotional eat, but regardless, it's just not healthy.
Yeah, weighing yourself multiple times a day and whatnot is not healthy. Um, yeah, not a good thing. Also, I do try to post in Discord, Liz, whenever I'm going live, so you can always check there too.
It doesn't make sense, but it is something that can be fixed, so I'm trying to fix it. So the fact that I was able to go a whole week without weighing myself is crazy. Have you noticed
She goes weeks without weighing herself, but I mean, since she is trying to lose weight, um, then I guess good for her.
your face also swells when you are swollen? Yes. And my mom also experiences it. So it might be like common or like genetic. Like literally in my last vlog, my last weekly vlog that I posted, I noticed it, and I'll show you guys a clip where it's like the beginning of my vlog, I am so swollen. And then towards the ending, you can like literally see how much I've deswelled. So that's why when I see people are like, oh my God, it's so like noticeable that Amberlynn has gained weight. It's like, yeah, but also a lot of the times, like you're seeing me really swollen. So sometimes
Yeah, her face is really bloated there. Um, she was on some antibiotics, I think, right? Maybe that caused it.
sometimes it's a lot more obvious, like in my chin or around my eyes or my cheeks, or sometimes it's just my legs, my arms. But this was the beginning of my vlog, and then here I was at the end, where you can tell that the swelling has definitely gone down. So sometimes I do look bigger, sometimes I do look smaller, and that's just the way it goes with the things that I have to deal with on a day to day basis. Is
Yikes on bikes. Is it true that you would stay this size if it was healthy?
it true that you would stay this size if it was healthy? So in one of my last live streams, I talked about the fact that like if it wasn't for the fact that being this size was unhealthy, I wouldn't feel like this urgency or this anxiety or constantly talk about weight loss. I wouldn't care so much to lose weight. And what I mean by that is I'm not doing it for vanity reasons. I'm not doing it for shallow reasons. I'm not doing it for my looks. I am doing it for my health. That is why I've always been very much about body positivity in the sense of everyone is beautiful regardless of what they look like or the size that they are. But I do not believe in health at every size, and I never have. But yes,
So the original health at every size was to get people to have equal health availability, health related um services and whatnot at any size. Instead of walking into a doctor's office and them going, "Oh, the problem is you're fat," when you have a broken wrist. So they don't immediately dismiss whatever issues you're having as just being overweight. So they actually, don't automatically blame everything on being overweight. But it got turned into, oh, you're healthy at every size and that sort of thing.
if I could be healthy, if being fat was not an unhealthy thing, then I wouldn't care. Because again, this is not for vanity reasons.
If if she were doing this for health reasons, she would have done it years ago, right? And she did start to do it years ago, but then she stopped because it was hard, I guess, or she wasn't seeing the results she wanted. It's like I've said before, she keeps saying, I'm doing this to save my life, but then she doesn't do jack shit. Or it's always about saving her life whenever there's something impeding her progress outside of her, but it's never her. Fiona's mom says she's not appearing to do it for her health either, honestly. Yeah. Mars says she needs to stop answering these hypothetical questions. She's been staying this size well since unhealthy. Yeah.
I'm not fat phobic. I don't think that fat people are ugly, nothing like that.
It doesn't matter. Who cares? I mean, who cares if you think fat people are beautiful or ugly? It doesn't matter.
It's strictly because I want to be healthy, I want to feel better, and I want to live a longer life.
Get 3 times points on travel and dining
Yes, get those
with
Visa
Chase
points.
Sapphire Reserve.
Yeah.
So when I'm in a restaurant and I pull these out.
What do you mean you'd feel lethargic eating French fries? So what I meant by that is like,
Yeah, and she had said before that she doesn't understand how people feel tired after like Thanksgiving or whatever, but then like the French fries would make her lethargic.
I'd feel sluggish. It's just like a sluggish feeling. Nobody feels good after eating junky types of food. I know.
I feel perfectly fine after eating French fries. um, but I do notice, I mean, like whenever I'm fixing my own food at home, doing my meal prep and everything, I notice I feel so much better. I don't eat a lot of sugary things lately, and I had a couple of cookies last week, and I did not feel great. My stomach was like, ugh, and I'm like, all right, let's not have very many sweets. Let's stick to my Ninja Creamy for my ice cream for my sweets. But whenever you stop eating a lot of sugary foods or a lot of like various types of things, your body's going to get used to not having it, and it's gonna not be very pleased if you reintroduce it in like large doses. I agree, Fiona's mom. She needs to get a handle on this.
No, I feel way better, way lighter after I eat a healthier meal versus an unhealthy meal. But being lethargic and tired, those things can happen at the same time, but they are two different things. Because a lot of people
But she's also said that she doesn't feel that way after eating food, so she's contradicting herself. Um,
were like, girl, you just said that you don't get tired after food, but now you're saying that you get lethargic. Yeah, two different things. So this was the
Not really. If you're lethargic, you're feeling tired. You're like, you don't want to move. I mean, two different words, but kind of the same thing. Why do you go to Denny's after the hospital? Probably because it was midnight and it was the only thing open.
most popular question I received this week is why'd you go to Denny's after the hospital? My mom was hungry, and I'm not gonna lie, so was I. It was past midnight, and we were at the hospital for hours. Neither of us ate anything that day. I was not expecting to be at the hospital that long, and neither was my mom. I didn't go to the hospital for some like crazy critical thing. I was directed by my doctor's office to go to urgent care, and then urgent care directed me to go to the ER because urgent care actually does not do ultrasounds. And then I ended up calling the emergency room just to see like if I can come in, and they told me I should probably get that looked at. So I went there for an ultrasound. I didn't go there for like anything critical or crazy. Like people still have to eat. My mom said she was not going to go home and like cook something. I didn't want to come home and cook something. It was really late. I was exhausted. I know she was as well. Like eating is still a thing that happens regardless if someone goes to a hospital or not. And I got a salad at Denny's. So next part is I want to talk about how my week.
Fiona's mom, you were shocked she went to Denny's after the ER. I wasn't. I mean, they'd been there all day. Her mom was going to be hungry. She was going to be hungry. It's midnight. There aren't a lot of things open in the middle of the night. I mean, you have like Waffle House, Denny's. There might be an all-night diner in Oklahoma City, but I mean, there aren't even too many drive-throughs open at that time of night. So you're not gonna want to go home and cook at midnight if you haven't eaten all day because you've been in the hospital all day. So I'm not I'm not surprised they went to Denny's at all.
Week went. So I've been going through a lot of stress, anxiety, worry, depression, some very low lows. I have shared a very small fraction of it, but majority of it is happening behind the scenes. I'm absolutely without a doubt suffering in silence. So I did have my doctor
Oh, she's suffering in silence. She does that a lot.
appointment yesterday because I was able to respond to the wait list really quickly.
Oh, she was on that text message back.
When they sent me the text message, I accepted a new appointment. So this next part of this video, I will be talking about in my weekly vlog as well because my Wayne videos don't get as many views as my other videos. And I want majority of people who watch me to hear this because this is like a big change in my life that's about to happen. So I will be also talking about this in my weekly vlog. So the first thing I want to talk about is Zepbound. That is the GLP-1 that I was going to go on, which is the weight loss injection. And my doctor prescribed it to me. And based on all of the research I've done, I was like, okay,
What was that?
which is the weight loss in my weekly vlog. So the first thing I want to talk about is Zepbound. That is the GLP-1 that I was going to go on, which is the weight loss injection. And my doctor prescribed it to me. And based on all of the
Okay, so she was able to get her doctor to prescribe her Zepbound. So I guess her doctor's okay with her doing that one.
research I've done, I was like, okay, yes, it is very expensive, but it is doable. So I get to the pharmacy, and turns out that is not the case at all. The pharmacy told me that the prices have raised, and it's like, okay, in my head I was like, all right, so the first month is just the beginning dose, which is obviously the cheapest month, but my doctor told me that the beginning dose is not going to do anything for me. So when I increase the Zepbound, it's going to increase the price, and I don't have that money. That's okay. I am currently working on my relationship with food, and instead of doing it alone, I'm going to let professionals help me. My doctor did confirm, like, your hysterectomy makes it a lot harder to lose weight. And that was before I did my fasting labs, where I got results for something that literally...
Saving money feels right. Just like when things are packed tidy and tight.
Sorry,
Get auto insurance.
It makes me really emotional. It makes me want to cry, but I'm not going to. And we will get into that in a second. So on top of like my hysterectomy, my lymphedema,
is she actually diabetic? I guess we'll find out.
my lipedema, and my messed up metabolism, it just seems like nothing wants me to lose weight. I have so many things just like literally fighting against me, but I'm not going to give up. So while I was at my doctor's appointment, they asked...
There comes a point where she has to do what needs to be done. There are things working against her. Yes, she has some genetics working against her and some other conditions. It doesn't make it impossible, though. It just means she needs to get with professionals. She needs to figure out what's going to work for her. Because it's losing weight isn't a one size fits all for everybody. I know that people are like, oh, well, just, put the fork down. Sometimes the fork isn't the problem. Sometimes there are a lot of other things going on that need to be addressed, and then you can work on the food aspect. Hey, DV. So, I mean, eating in a caloric deficit will absolutely help that, but if your metabolism is completely fucked, there's not much you can do.
ask you like this depression screening, they ask you all these like mental health questions, and mine was not good. I ended up literally breaking down in front of my doctor and in front of my mom. I'm like bawling my eyes out. They're handing me tissue. Like I had a full-fledged like anxiety attack right in front of him. It was really embarrassing, but it genuinely shows like the level of my mental health. Like even someone just asking me like in my live stream like a week ago, they were like, how are you doing? Like it made me break down. I'm feeling everything so strongly and so deeply. My emotions are all over the place and I feel really low and just...
I don't know what, I mean, she could just be having a rough time. I mean, emotions are not black and white either. Sorry, my ear itches. And that's where my microphone is. Whoops. So, I mean, maybe she's just having an emotional week. Maybe she's just having a low week. I don't know.
A lot of mental health problems that I do not want to speak out loud. I just have constant, deep, painful emotions that I experience.
Is she still has her therapist, right? I mean, are they working on through some of these things and trying to help with her mental health and emotional health?
It's all day long and it's genuinely ruining my life. Long story short, I was prescribed an SSRI to help with my anxiety, my lows, my depression, and to help with like the deep feelings of having BPD. It's not going to help regulate my emotions or anything like that. Like I have to work on that myself, but it's going to help.
Right, they're mood stabilizers. So BPD is a personality disorder. A mood stabilizer like an SSRI is not going to help with that, but it can help with her other issues like depression and anxiety and these things.
Help stabilize me a little.
Most of us have deep personal emotions. I don't think I do, but yeah. Yeah, she hasn't talked about it for a while, Mars. Maybe she decided she just doesn't like the way people respond to her about it. I don't know.
Bit. So we did my fasting labs. Like I have to work on that myself, but it's going to help stabilize me a little bit. So we did my fasting labs and I got those results today. My doctor actually sent me a whole message kind of going over my results and talking about like the abnormal results and what it could mean, etc., etc. And regarding if I have diabetes or not, I want to show you this clip. All right, you guys.
Welcome, Amber.
My results are in. This is my MacBook. We're zoomed in so you don't see anything personal. I'm signed into my little health portal. I'm going to click test results. So
What do we have? HIV detection with reflex confirmation. What's that? CBC without differential, vitamin D25 hydroxy, TSH reflexive, hepatitis C antibody, hemoglobin A1C. So yeah, they run all of these tests. What? You know, they just do a full blood panel. Um, the TSH um is going to be a thyroid level test. The vitamin D can help do a lot of things too. I need to go get blood work done again to check my thyroid levels and my vitamin D levels as well. Just gonna see. I'm seeing with this, they might just do this for everyone, do an HIV test. Maybe because she was in the hospital and they did she had to have a IV maybe. So it looks like it's just a secondary test just to so it's just a second screening test just to see if she has the antibodies. Um so it's a two-part test for it, and that's the second part. Let's see, CBC without differential. I forget what that is. I think it's the white blood cell count. It measures all the blood cell. Uh, it measures your different types of blood cells, your red and white blood cells and platelets, and breaks down the measurements. I feel you, Fiona's mom, but yeah, you have it rough for sure. Is that on her screen or mine? I think it's on her screen. And her hemoglobin A1C, that's going to be the test for diabetes.
We did a multitude of things here, but we're about to find out. Here's my hemoglobin A1C to determine am I diabetic or not. All right. No.
I don't know why she feels the need that she has to prove this to people. Values of 5.4. She's not diabetic. Barely.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, 5.4 is my actual exact number that I always am every time I get this checked. So not even a pre-diabetic.
The sweetest moments deserve the boldest flavors, like our new concrete mixers and lemonized coolers made.
So pre-diabetic would be 5.7 through 6.4. I do not have diabetes. I'm not even pre-diabetic. That is always something that is just like in the back of my mind. I'm just always fearful that it's going to happen or is happening and I don't know about it. Just
it
because
should
you're
be.
fat does not mean you have diabetes, and just because you're skinny doesn't mean you won't get diabetes. But some of my blood work is a little off. Some things that are questionable that he said is something to really worry about right now. But there is something that I'm going to be going on medicine for. Turns out I have hypothyroidism. That's so hard to say for me. I don't know why. So people who have that is a leading cause of weight gain. Like I've constantly been like, it's hard for me to lose weight because of my lymphedema, my going through menopause at such an early age, the hysterectomy, like the list can just go on. And now, bam, smack in the face. I have the very thing that causes people to gain weight. Like, it's just like, I feel like the world is like against me right now.
Yeah, something to cry over. I mean, she has a lot of issues though. So I also have hypothyroidism. It kind of runs in my family. Um, yeah, it's so they'll probably do multiple tests like over the next couple of years. It took me and my endocrinologist, I think, 3 years to get my levels to where they need to be because God, my ear keeps itching. Um, so she'll need to go on a um she'll need to go on a thyroid replacement hormone. Mine's levothyroxine, which is the generic brand of like Synthroid. Um, and she'll take it every morning. right? Not the end of the world. It's just going to take some time to get those levels to where they need to be. So with hypothyroidism, your thyroid is underactive, and your thyroid hormones, the TS3 being released, are what control your metabolism. And if that's not being released, then your metabolism is going to be shit. And that's my problem that I have. I remember several years ago, my levels were off again, and I'd had some blood work done, and I was talking to my trainer at the gym. I was talking to my trainer, and he was like, if you don't mind me asking, what was the TSH number? And I'm like, oh, it's like 7.4. And he's like, wow, that's really high. He's like, if your TSH is that high, he's like, your metabolism is going to be next to nothing. He's like, I can't outtrain your hormones. He's like, we can work out all day, every day, and you're not going to lose weight. He's like, but if you're feeling better, and feeling stronger, he's like, that's what we need. So even so, with her having hypothyroidism, it is going to make it more difficult because her metabolism isn't going to be working as well as it should be. And not to mention her eating habits have probably already fucked up her metabolism, but she'll go on a medication. They'll take time, probably about every 6 months, do blood work to check um, what the levels are and make adjustments as needed. So, um, of course, she'll need to get a specialized doctor, endocrinologist, and they'll tell her what she can and can't do, right? I mean, I know that there's like list of foods you're not supposed to eat or do whatever, but my doctor hasn't given me any of that. The only things I'm supposed to do are not take an iron supplement or a multivitamin with iron in it at the same time because the iron can bind to the levothyroxine and keep it from working. And then dairy. Don't have dairy within like half an hour of taking my medicine. So I just don't eat or drink anything except for like water up to half an hour after having my medicine so that it gets absorbed into my body. So I mean, not the end of the world. It does make it more difficult, but it's still possible. You just got to get those levels back to where they need to be.
And I know that could just, it's just like, I feel like the world is like against me right now. And I know that could just be like my depression talking, but I just feel really, really overwhelmed and defeated. So having the hypothyroid is.
So I will say, eating, so Fiona's mom, even eating in a calorie deficit, if your metabolism isn't functioning like it's supposed to, it's not going to matter. It doesn't matter. Um, you're still not going to lose weight. So,
God, I'm gonna hate saying the word. It causes like the hair thin.
say that again.
So having the hypothyroidism, God, I'm gonna hate saying the word. It causes like the hair thinning, so that's also like a double whammy.
It can
and it
cause,
also causes like low moods and depression and exhaustion, brain fog.
You can feel tired. It can cause hair thinning issues,
etc., etc. And I'm just like, wow, this is all also adding up for me. So on top of taking the medicine for that, I'm also going to be taking a vitamin D because it was a little low. It definitely has gotten higher every single time I've gotten it checked. So that's good. But I just feel like, damn, like what next? Like I genuinely went from taking 0 medicine to now I'm going to be taking 3 medicines a day. And I just feel overwhelmed and scared and frustrated. Like I hate medicine.
Well, even if you hate medicine, I mean, sometimes you need to take it, right? I mean, if she can't just stop taking her thyroid medication.
But I know that I have to take it. My week's been rough, and these are just things that like I'm choosing to tell you guys because trust me, your girl has a whole other personal shit show of a life that she is currently going through right now.
Ooh, what's going on? Give us the tea. What's the drama?
And I'm telling you, my mental health is so fucking bad, and I cannot wait for this medicine to just like do what it's supposed to do, work in my body, and just me continue to like make healthier choices and just do things that are right for me. So now let's talk about the goals that I had last week, which was literally just one: work on my relationship with food. And yes, I have still been doing that. So I have two goals this week. One is I want to keep a food journal.
So she just dropped the goal of not ordering takeout, but I mean, what happened to that goal? Your husband has had the thyroid. They thought he had thyroid cancer, but thankfully, oh, that's good. I'm glad he didn't have cancer. Yeah, they do the they do a biopsy on mine every few years.
This will help me be aware of things that I'm eating because, as you guys know, like I'm not counting the calories or anything like that. I'm strictly just like making better choices. But I'm finding myself like later in the night being like, what have I ate today? Like, why do I feel
What have I eaten today?
hungry, or why this, why that? If I have a food journal, I'll know exactly what I ate. Keeping a food journal is like one of the very most recommended things that like any dietitian or nutritionist will tell you to do. And my second goal is literally just take my medications as directed. And I want to
Yeah, she needs to make so since her sleep schedule is all over the place, her eating schedule is also all over the place. If she can get on a regular eating schedule and a regular sleeping schedule, that would really, I think, one, help her mental health a lot, and two, help her body regulate those hunger cues and want to be like, oh, okay, it's time to have breakfast, it's time to have lunch, whatever. So since she does eat at such random times, that could be why she's feeling hungry late at night. You know, it's
document personally in my journal how I feel when necessary. So my last weigh-in from last week was 513.0, and this week I'm 516.0, and I'm telling you, I'm not surprised. I have everything fighting against me. And right now, I am so overwhelmed with everything.
so now it still comes down to her food choices, right? Even with the hypothyroidism causing issues, um, you know, you still have to take responsibility, right? And she doesn't do that. It's always everything else. Her Uber Eats orders are her food journal. It's going to be full of Diet Cokes, Diet Dr. Peppers from Chick-fil-A.
Thing going on that I literally just cannot care over 3 pounds of a fluctuation.
So she's not, well, that I mean, it could be a fluctuation, it could not, depends what you've eaten this week. I guess she's just going to write down what she eats, and she's not going to like track it, and she's not going to track it in like a calorie counting app because she doesn't want to count calories. But I don't know. Set an alarm, side says. You set alarms to tell you when to. That would be helpful. Yeah.
Genuinely can't. If it happens again next week, that's when I'll care. All right, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
All right. So Amberlynn has hypothyroidism. Not the end of the world. It just will make some things a little bit more difficult. But so she's had blood work done before recently within the last couple of years, and they I'm sure they tested her TSH levels, uh, and T4 and T3 levels. I'm sure they tested all that. So this might be a recent development. So maybe they caught it early enough to, get her uh, um, to get her metabolism back on track. They biopsied him at the surgery table and came out to tell me not cancer after he said to us was 99% sure prior to surgery. They didn't do a biopsy before the surgery? That's weird. And a month later, you went into liver failure? Oh, geez. That's crazy, Fiona's mom. I'm sorry. I'm surprised they didn't do the biopsy before the surgery.
Hello, hello. Welcome to
We're not ready yet, Amber. Hush. That's really weird. But we have Amberlynn's next video. I think this is her it's her let's talk from yesterday, titled Keemstar versus Zachary Michael, whatever that is, How Beck Proposed, and Growing Up in Poverty. Let's talk episode 9. Why are we talking about Beck's proposal? Why are we bringing this up again? What's the purpose? What's the point? I don't understand why we insist on dragging these things back up. I mean, I guess somebody asked about it, but make sure she is still, we're going to speed her up.
Hello, welcome to another Let's Talk. I was crying a little bit before this video, so that's why I look the way I do, but I'm okay. So let's just hop right into it with Sweet and Sour.
If I look like I've been crying, it's because I have. I missed that line. We haven't heard that line in a while.
KCHI Juarez said, they didn't silence you. You embarrassed them with the engagement story. I'd be mad too if I was them. So that
I like that Amberlynn is making it a very obvious point to correct the pronouns, because people like to correct her and me sometimes if we slip up and say she for Beck instead of they. But then the people that are correcting us also repeatedly use the wrong pronoun. Yeah, so if he had a growth on his thyroid, like a goiter, they probably wanted to remove it. Mine isn't big enough to require surgery, but yeah.
that engagement story was as much theirs as it was mine, and I'm allowed to share that. If you're embarrassed with the way that you proposed, maybe you shouldn't have proposed that way. I stand by what I said. It was a weird way to propose. If you guys don't know, Beck proposed on a little vibrator after we hadn't had sex for literally a few years. And they asked me, will you have sex with me for the rest of my life? And I just thought that was kind of insensitive. It didn't feel personal, and it just felt off to me. And I have a right to share that. And that's like,
Well, I mean, Beck might have thought it was cute at the time. I mean, it's a unique proposal. I'll say that.
the only story that I've shared when I have hundreds more, but I choose not to. Ranch Girly 33 said, Amberlynn, look at all the positivity in the chat. The change is coming. So I don't know.
Well, the chat would have been her members only live stream, so of course it was gonna primarily be positive.
I've only seen the few comments that I screenshotted here, but if there is more positivity, I am happy to see it. Thank you guys. Sailor Mercury 1990 said, yep, I keep saying, why does VM sound like the same people every damn week? So I'm assuming you're talking about the voice messages. I have not done a single repeat. Every single voice message I have done has been from a different person. Chop Suey 2716 said, why she keeps saying she had a CT scan? She was too fat years ago and she didn't get it. She's heavier than before, but willy-nilly getting scans now? Well, for one, I'm not heavier now. 2, I'm saying that I got a CT scan because I did. 3, I was only too big for a CT scan one time, and that was during a time when I was in a rural area. Since then, I've gotten multiple CT.
Sounded like she said real area, rural. Yeah, I mean, they're probably gonna have some TC scanners that are big enough for her, probably, and bigger hospitals.
Scans due to my cancer because I was in a bigger city. CT scans have weight limits and they're all different.
Maybe Beck thought it'd springboard into activity. I don't think Beck had any interest in sleeping with Amberlynn, to be honest. I don't think Beck really, like, after the first couple of years, I think they probably fell out of love with Amberlynn and was just kind of in it for Amberlynn's money, really, to take care of them.
Large populated places have CT scans that do allow bigger bodies. So I hope this helps. All right, now it is time.
Hope this helps. Are we channeling some young dumb honey bun?
For Sippin' Community.
Come on.
What do you consider working on your relationship with food? What have you done to improve it? So I'm just going to list.
Okay, that's a good question.
list off a few things. I'm no longer like labeling foods good or bad. Yes, I'm fully aware that there are foods that are better for you and I want to nourish myself with those, but labeling certain foods as bad is triggering as hell for me. I'm trying to figure out like what are my emotional triggers, what are my mental triggers, like what are my environmental triggers and things like that, and then finding coping mechanisms for those triggers. I'm keeping
All right. Who are you working with? How are you trying to work on those coping mechanisms? Are you working with a therapist? Are you going to get a dietitian? Are you working with somebody that specializes in EDs of like food addiction to work on those things? And I've been saying for several years to stop labeling food good or bad. Food does not have morality. Food is not good, food is not bad. There are some foods that are better for you and some that aren't as good for you as far as like nutritional value. But saying, "Oh, that's bad, I can't eat it. That's good food, I can eat it." What makes it good or bad? Just that's not going to help your mentality and your relationship with food if you're labeling them good or bad.
a food journal. This is building lots of awareness for me. I'm slowing down my eating and I'm trying not to eat so much while watching something because I realize I eat a lot faster while I'm like watching a YouTube video. I'm just trying to be more focused on my food. I am
Yeah, be a little bit more mindful of what you're eating and how much. If you're sitting down with a bag of chips or a bag of something, instead of putting some into a plate or a bowl, you're probably going to eat the entire thing without realizing it if you're just watching TV or something while doing it.
literally discarding the all or nothing approach because that has never worked for me in the past. Because when I do the all or nothing approach, if I make one small, tiny, like quote unquote bad decision, or I'm taking away the bad, but in the past, if I would have made that bad decision, I would have just let loose for the full day. But instead, I make that quote unquote bad decision and I just go on. I'm connecting my eating to self-worth. Like so many people tell me, Amberlynn, you're so fat, you don't need to eat for a year. Like, I don't believe that. I'm just trying to really, truly take away all of this like nonsense, this noise that I only deserve food if I'm skinny. I try not to watch any eating content, and if I do, I make sure they're eating something healthy. Like, have you guys heard of the Tiffany plate? That's that plate that I eat with all the
God, that fucking Tiffany plate. Yes, we've heard of it. So I forgot what I was gonna say. It'll come back to me here. What did she say? I was thinking of something.
like, I don't believe that. I'm just trying to really
Oh, yeah, deserving food when she's skinny. So there's this phenomenon, I guess, that like you'll see on like TikTok or whatever, or even on YouTube, where you'll see somebody that's in a bigger body will post a video of them eating food, or hey, this is what I eat in a day trying to lose weight. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Liam, the plant slant on YouTube and also on TikTok, but he's going to school to be a nutritionist or a dietitian or something. Um, but he has a lot of really good takes. But you'll see people posting these videos, and it might be a bigger girl, and they'll show what they're eating that day. And what they're eating is perfectly fine and normal amounts of food and perfectly fine for them to have for that day for their goals. But people will be really nasty in the comments like, oh, that's too much food. You're eating way too much. Oh, this is so much. Kind of like whenever one of our viewers in the chat was saying, oh, Amberlynn's so gluttonous when she had a plate of vegetables. It's like whenever you're in a bigger body, people are going to be judging what you're eating more harshly. If it were somebody skinny that were eating the same things that some of these people on TikTok were showing, hey, this is what I ate today, people would be like, oh, yeah, slay queen, you go, and all this bullshit. But because people might be in a bigger body, people automatically are like, oh, that's not, it's very noticeable in various creators on like TikTok especially. Let's talk more action, Amberlynn. I agree, Fiona's mom. Amberlynn, this is another reason why I think Amberlynn might have ADHD. She's all about the planning, but then never doing the execution.
really truly take away all of this like nonsense, this noise that I only deserve food if I'm skinny. I try not to watch any eating content, and if I do, I make sure they're eating something healthy. Like, have you guys heard of the Tiffany plate? That's that plate that I eat with all the veggies and the cottage cheese and the chicken sausage. Like, if I was to watch eating content, I make sure to only watch ones that are healthy because I noticed that like the unhealthy, lack of nourishing foods does trigger me. I'm trying to pay more attention to my hunger, fullness cues. I feel like the list can literally go on and on and on and on and on, but I'm really working on it. It's free reign, not free range. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I say free range, but thank you for letting me know. I'm probably gonna forget if we're
Yeah, we've pointed that out. A couple people have pointed that out. You got a free range Mama Lynn, loose in Target.
being honest. I'm so worried about my health. At Denny's after the ER, give me that girly pop grand slam. So I don't know if you guys know this, but most restaurants do have healthier options, and that includes Denny's. And again, I got a salad. Why don't you ever do
The salads at Denny's, I'm not sure how healthy those are. I stopped at Denny's last night on my drive back home. I got a Fit Slam, and I realized after I left the restaurant and was driving back, I'm like, they didn't give me my fruit. It's supposed to come with a side of fruit. I didn't get my fruit. But they had a new cook in the kitchen apparently, and like the spinach in my little egg white omelet could have been cooked a little more. It was basically raw spinach in my omelet. I'm like, crunch, crunch. I'm like, this is so yummy. You think she may fear success? Why do you think that, Fiona's mom?
a low sodium diet? You know what's really funny about this question? When I got my lab results, my sodium was low. My sodium was low. It was in the normal range, but it was low on the normal range. And I'm telling you, I'm probably as shocked as y'all.
That would Amberlynn's sodium being low. That's that's a shock and a half.
Keemstar cussed you out just like Zach did, but you loved when Keemstar did it. Make it make sense. Keemstar is a troll.
I don't watch Keemstar, but I did. Somebody posted some things that he had called Amberlynn, I guess, in the live stream. That's just kind of unacceptable. Did I get chips instead instead of my fruit? No, I didn't get anything. I just had my little sad egg white omelet, 2 pieces of turkey bacon, and an English muffin. And I put the turkey bacon on the English muffin and ate that. But it didn't even dawn on me because I was so freaking tired. I was driving, I was tired. Stopped to get some dinner, and I didn't even notice I was on the road that I was like, I didn't get my fruit.
He's literally like that towards everyone. Like, if you've watched his live streams, he's like that even towards the people that he loves the most. I'm not saying that he loves me. I'm not saying that we're friends because we're definitely not. But even me, like me and my closest friends, we call each other hoe, hooker, like bitch, like what's up, bitch? Like literally, like it's about the intent. Like it's way different when it's a joke versus like how Zach did it. Like that was out of anger. Like remember, intent matters, just like in most things. How was a guy watching your TikTok at Denny's? So it's not that it was a coincidence that the guy was watching my TikTok at Denny's and I heard him do it in the sense of like, oh, it's a coincidence. Like he's just sitting there watching my TikTok and then there I am, I pop up. It's the fact that he recognized me first, put the TikTok on, showed his friend, and he was like, no, it really is her.
Okay, that's not what it sounded like. It sounded like whenever she was telling this story the first time that he was watching her TikTok and then she was like, oh, hey, hi, I'm here. That's what it sounded like the first time. Not that he was like, oh, I recognize you. Here's who she is. Here's the TikTok. That's not what it sounded like the first time she told this story. It just sounded like that he was like watching TikToks with his friend and happened to be watching Amberlynn's TikTok, and so the story was very confusing, I guess, compared to this one.
Her. It's not that he was watching it first. Trust me, this happens a lot where someone will
Keem is not your friend. I don't think Keem is anybody's friend. I don't really know anything about him. What will she do if she's successful? I don't know, Fiona's mom. We'll have to wait and see if she ever is.
recognize me. They'll be looking, they'll either go to my Instagram or my TikTok and I'll hear them. My mom will hear them. Like when I got my other side of my nose pierced, my mom was whispering to me, she's like, those people recognize you. And it was just like a cluster of people. And I didn't even notice. Like we were in the piercing shop and she was like, watch, watch. And then I caught them like looking and they were like whispering, yeah, it is her. But I was so nervous to get the other side of my nostril pierced that I didn't even notice. But like this has been happening forever. Like a lot of the time, like people do come up.
I mean, she's hard to not notice. I'll put it that way.
To me, but there are a lot of the time that they don't. And then later I'll get a message on Instagram where they're like, oh, I saw you on so-and-so. I was too shy to come up to you. I genuinely think I'm just recognized a lot because there's also a lot of people who cover me. All right, you guys, now it is time for the interview.
My world is in constant motion. The gym, the airport, the spotlight.
So where do you think the line is between weight being due to genetics versus being due to environmental factors or personal choice and lifestyle?
I don't think there really is a line, because if it is due to genetics, then that's pretty black and white. I know for me, it's due to genetics. My grandma on my dad's side used to be 600 pounds, but then she actually got the weight loss
Oh, wow.
surgery. So I only knew her as a woman who was like 100 and something pounds. She's no longer with us.
Oh, we're finding what her friend's saying that her friends. Right. And she did clarify after that she's not saying that Keemstar is her friend or anything, but that he's just a troll and that's just what he does. Still, I mean, it's not nice.
Like, that woman was my heart and soul. I miss her so much every single day. But I also know that it's environmental because of the things that I went through, all of the trauma. I turned to food. So I have a lot of medical and I have a lot of environmental, just things like working against me. Like when I did the ACE test, I scored 9 out of 10. Now that we're here, I actually want to share with you guys what 9 I have, because I know so many people are like, what? So these questions are pretty black and white. Like, there's no even having to think of them. It's either it did.
So yes, genetics can cause an issue. You can work on still losing weight. Environmental, she turned to food with the food addiction and all these other issues. Those can be environmental can be completely worked on. You can't change your genetics. You can just do the best you can with what you have and do what you can do. But environmental and her own actions that got her to this weight, it's your environment only works against you up to a certain point. Whenever you're a child, yes, you don't have a lot of control over your environment and what's around you and what's available. But as an adult, she has complete control of her environment, what she can do to work on her mental health and to work on these other factors. So she never it's never her. And this is one of my biggest issues with Amberlynn is nothing is ever her fault. It's always something or somebody else. And that's one of my biggest issues with her. If you and his mom, no accountability. Yeah, it's so frustrating.
It happened or it didn't. I actually think that these questions might even be too triggering for
What was this?
even having to think of them. It's either it did happen or it didn't. I actually think that these questions might even be too triggering for some people. So I've decided I am not going to share them.
Hi, Amber. So I watched Destiny and Becky's video about you.
Okay.
And something that struck me as odd was the constant glazing everyone was doing for them. I felt that there was not a lot of accountability.
The constant what?
To share them.
Hi, Amber. So I watched Destiny and Becky's video about you.
Okay.
And something that struck me as odd was the constant glazing everyone was
Constant glazing?
doing for them. I felt that there was not a lot of accountability on Destiny/Becky's end.
Okay.
While I believe Becky may not remember everything clearly, it felt like she kind of began to use that as a crutch to not take accountability or answer difficult questions, like questions about Twinkie.
Okay.
Do you think that the fans were sort of ready to take anything Destiny and Becky said in order to run with it and paint you as the villain? And how do you navigate that? How do you navigate the hate?
Oh, they were willing to hear anything said about me and believe it. Beck doesn't have to take accountability. Destiny doesn't have to take accountability. They will literally believe anything that they say. Beck doesn't remember a lot, and they lied a lot, and they exaggerated a lot. Like, literally, they lied about things that, like, there's proof of in vlogs, but nobody cares because they just want the tea about me. How have I navigated that? Well, I don't really know. I've popped off like a medium amount. Definitely in live streams. But like I'm telling you, I could like pop off at a level that would probably shock a lot of people, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lower myself to that level. But at the level that I did pop off, it's just like, because it's too much. Like, why lie? Why share personal details? Like, it's just heavy. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. Any person on this planet, if they were experiencing what I have been experiencing, they would probably pop off themselves or they would disappear from the internet. Hint, hint. They will stay
Beck did disappear. So people, and I've said this before, people will believe anything negative about Amberlynn because they want to believe the worst in Amberlynn. People be like, oh, she's the devil, she's just evil, she's not really. I mean, there are so many people so much worse than Amberlynn that have done so much worse. Amberlynn had mental health issues that were undiagnosed that caused a lot of her issues in her previous relationships. She should, she hasn't fully, in my opinion, taken accountability for those, especially with Beck, because it was always well, I did this, but yes, Beck did this too. That's not taking accountability. That's shifting the blame. That's saying that what you were doing was like reactive to what Beck was doing. But Destiny and Beck, they can say anything and people will believe it. Anybody can say anything. I mean, even with just like um when that person commented in Zach's and Zach on commented on Zach's video saying that, oh, I called the animal. Why do I have an alarm going off? Um, when that person commented on Zach's video saying, "Oh, I called the shelter and they told me that it was rarity," but then they contradicted themselves saying that they needed. So it's like people were believing that person. A lot of people were like, "This doesn't add up." But anybody can say absolutely anything negative about Amberlynn, and people will 100% believe it because they want to believe the worst. So when it comes to her relationships with Destiny and Beck, Destiny strikes me as like this. I'm going to say whatever I want because it'll be shocking and people will believe what Destiny just seems to kind of have that attitude, but Destiny doesn't. Destiny strikes me as just not giving a fuck, right? Um, Beck I think cares a bit more, but Beck's memory isn't that great from a lot of the time that they were with Amberlynn, either due to medication or just not remembering things or smoking too much weed. I don't know. But Beck doesn't remember a lot of things clearly. Amberlynn has memory issues too, but so does Beck. So there were things that Beck would be like, oh, I don't remember this. And it would be something about something they did. But anything negative, people would just eat that shit up. And as far as talking about things about personal things with Amberlynn, like with the washcloth, things like this, whatever. Amberlynn says she hasn't done that. I really don't care if she did or didn't. Um, why do we feel the need to share these things? Why do we feel the need to go online and start spreading this information, spreading this personal details of their, you know, just all of these intimate details of Amberlynn's life don't need to be shared. It's not okay to do that to people that you allegedly loved at one point. Fiona's mom says, I honestly don't care for her personality, but I'm concerned for her health and well being. Yeah. Why do you watch her then, Fiona's mom? Why do you watch why do you watch Amberlynn content if you don't care for her personality? Are you just concerned about her health?
Blazed, and I really just don't care.
Hey Amberlynn, me and my girlfriend have watched you for years now and have loved watching your journey. My question to you is, how do you handle setbacks without getting discouraged?
Ooh, I feel like I do get discouraged a
What
lot.
was that?
Me and my girlfriend have watched you for years now and have loved watching your journey. My question to you is, how do you handle setbacks without getting discouraged?
Oh, how do you handle setbacks without getting discouraged?
Ooh, I feel like I do get discouraged a lot, but somehow I just pick myself back up.
But what do you do after that discouragement? She doesn't, I mean, yeah, she, quote, picks herself back up, but she doesn't change anything. She doesn't change anything.
Doing this while I'm doing my skincare. My first question is, so we saw you get a Fitbit, and I mean, maybe I just haven't paid close attention, but I don't know where the Fitbit went, because I'm like, that Fitbits aren't cheap.
Yeah, she bought a Fitbit, but yeah, we've never seen her wear the Fitbit.
So and then also, I felt like you've had an Apple Watch before, and I'm like, where did that go? Why get a Fitbit when you can, use your Apple Watch? I guess I don't know. And I'm gonna send my second question in another thing. Hold on.
Okay, so they did send me a second question, as they said, but let me answer that real quick. So the Fitbit was broke. Remember when I showed you guys, like, it went through the ringer to get to me? It was broke. Like, the front of the screen cracked, couldn't even turn on.
It was cracked. It was broke. Did you send it back?
I was like, is the universe telling me that, like, I don't need a Fitbit? As for the Apple Watch, oh, she'd been lost. She'd been lost. I don't even think she made it to Oklahoma. All right, let's do the next question.
My second question is, you've cycled through a lot of diets.
Yes.
You'll count calories until it triggers you, then you'll eat intuitively until you gain too much weight and realize you don't have, that control yet, and then you'll try Ozempic till your gallbladder hurts and you
This sounds very much like a yo-yo dieter, very common, but yes, I do cycle.
try to do
I hope that you guys can hear them, by the way.
keto, but then your gallbladder hurts, but it helps your lipedema. So it's just, I don't know. I want to ask, what do you think what's it gonna take? Like, what's gonna work? And if you don't know that, that's okay too.
I don't know yet.
I was just curious because it's like, I mean, I'm not a fan, but I have like I've followed your journey since like 2018. And I'm gonna be honest, it is a little maddening.
You're watching it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan, but I follow you. It's a little maddening. You only watch her through us, through like me and Tree Boy. I gotcha. I don't. Yeah, so that person was a little hard to hear, but I think they were kind of going through and like listing some of the things she's done to try to lose weight, the different diets, the Ozempic to the gallbladder issues, and like the keto. And I think they were asking like, what's going to work for you? What is going to be what works for you? And Amberlynn's like, I don't know.
I'm living it. Like, it is maddening. I literally hate this for the both of us.
I'm gonna wash my hands real quick.
Okay.
So that's just my main question is, what's it gonna take? And I'm trying not to be rude, but I can come off really blunt, so I apologize for that.
No, you're good.
But yeah, those are my main questions.
Honestly, I think it's me working on my relationship with food, because before I never worried so much about that. It was more so like, oh, diet culture, oh, let's lose weight. Now it's like, girl, like, let's work on that relationship with food. That's going to heal the way that you think of food. It's a lot. Okay, so they sent.
So once she kind of gets her food relationship, she should have been working on this years ago. I've been saying this for a couple of years. If she could work on that and work on these other issues, the weight loss will come after she gets these other issues in place or resolved more.
Sent another one, so let's listen.
Hey everyone, big heads up, Paleo Valley's running a sale on all their meat sticks right now. You can get 30 sticks for $36, which...
Also, I was not going to send a third message, but your egg intolerance actually is probably a side effect from your gallbladder, because the egg yolk is really fatty. And when I had my gallbladder, that was a huge trigger for me, was eggs. And I still can't eat them because it reminds me of how sick I used to get when I had a gallbladder. So yeah, fun fact, it's probably because of your gallbladder.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but no, it's not because of my gallbladder. I've actually had it since I was just a wee little girl, and my mom also suffers with the same thing. But thank you for the questions.
Hi, Amber. I just want to say that you and my sister love you. We always watch you together. But I just have two quick questions to ask. One, what like catchphrase, like I know you have like hectic on one. Like, what catchphrase would you put on your like next like merch drop if you're gonna have one? And then also my other question is like, what was like your like favorite diet? Like, not like necessarily like how well it worked, but like the one that you enjoyed most. Like what diet did you like enjoy, I guess, the most that you were on? Thank you, Queen. I love you.
I love you too.
So I think they asked, the first one was asking about merch. What's her next merch going to be? I think is what they asked.
Why am I so giggly? I don't know what's going on. So I don't know what catchphrase I would put on one next. Like, I was making so much merch, but then things happened and I had to stop.
You can still make the fucking merch. You don't need Tommy to make the merch.
There was a lot of catchphrases, a lot of inside jokes. You guys would have literally loved it. I don't know if that's something I'll go back to or not, but right now the subject is a little touchy. But regarding favorite diet, Jenny Craig. Like, I don't know what it is.
Really?
But definitely favorite.
Hi Amber, I'm a huge fan of you and your channel. My question for you is, if you could start your YouTube career from scratch but keep all your knowledge of how to be a YouTuber, would you do anything differently? Would you change the way you did your journey? Let us know. Love you.
Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I love you too.
Hi, Amberlynn.
Hi, Amberlynn.
Long-time viewer, first-time questioner. I've always wanted to know, when will you ever, release any information on your foster journey and what had happened to you during that time? I know that it's a very touchy subject, but it's just something that I've always found interesting because everybody has a different kind of story. Yeah. And even just releasing some information about it would just be something I'd want to hear. And
so she has shared a few tidbits and things here and there. I don't think that's something Amberlynn should be sharing currently on her channel, to be honest.
A vlog or a Let's Talk video.
So That subject is very touchy for me for sure. And I think that's a reason why it's hard, because it's like there's so much that happened, obviously. Whether that was before foster care, during, or after, like there's a lot. And I know that there are so many people who are watching me who literally don't believe a word I say. Foster care and the things around it, I do not want any of that to be questioned, because that is the shit that gave me so much fucking trauma. Like that is my real life, true, authentic story. And for that to be like tainted in that way, which, bro, like it can't even be more tainted than it already is, because obviously I have a lot of trauma, but it's just like for people to touch it in like a vile way instead of like a way that comes from like concern and gentleness. Like, I don't know, it's just hard for me. But I am an open book, and I am always open to answering any
I don't know about that, but
questions about foster care. It's just hard for me to sit down and make a full-fledged story time. It would probably be 10 hours long. I'd probably forget a lot of things. I'd be editing it back, probably thinking, damn, I should have said that, or I should have, it's just a lot. But I am always willing to answer things.
Hi, Amberlynn. First, I want to say that having your videos playing in the background has gotten me through both my bachelor's degree and now my master's degree.
Oh my gosh, congrats.
We got to balance the chaos with some more chaos.
Yes.
So my question is, coming from a place of someone who also grew up in poverty and struggles with the scarcity mindset.
Yes.
I want to ask, how do you plan on dealing with this in the long term? I know that I feel like once I have money, I need to spend it, or even once I have food, I need to eat it, because I feel like I might never have it again. I still go back to that place in my mind. And, in the context of weight loss, which is also something I have struggled with, I think that the scarcity mindset gets in our way, because in our search for balance, we will create an artificial scarcity that our mind just instinctually wants us to alleviate. And so with that said, do you ever think that you'll get over the scarcity mindset? Is there something that you're doing or can see yourself doing to interrupt these thought patterns? Because it can be done, and I know that it can be done by doing some work with making yourself feel more secure in your situation. And yeah, I don't know. This is long, but I hope that this question finds you well. And happy summer. Bye.
Aw, thank you. I literally loved that voicemail. Thank you. Voicemail. That's not a voicemail. Voice message. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I genuinely loved that. I do have that mindset. I noticed it more and more. Like, more money that I made on YouTube, the more I would spend it. Like, I used to buy so much clothes from Torrid because I grew up with none. Like, when I lived with my parents, I had like one pair of pants, one sweater. Then I went to a children's shelter where you're sharing clothes with everybody. Like, there's like a special closet that you go in, and like I had nothing. And then even through foster homes, like I would get a couple outfits, but then I would transfer into a different foster home, and then I would lose those clothes. It's like, where the hell did they go? I don't understand. And then when I was living with my parents, it's like one day we wouldn't really have much food. The next day my dad would go out and buy a bunch of like dollar cheeseburgers from McDonald's, and then I would eat it fast and a lot. And like, we got free food from the food bank. That's a random fact. Like, it would get delivered to us every Saturday. We had nothing. And now that I have this money, it's like I catch myself buying too much of something. And a lot of people's like, Amberlynn's a hoarder. It's like, no, I'm not a hoarder. My brain does not work accordingly. And I don't really 100% know how to get out of it. I mean, I will say I have definitely improved. I'm not sitting here buying hordes of clothing anymore. Like, I'll buy a few things off of Torrid if they like drop something that's like super cute in my style. I still buy like Legos and stuff because that's my hobby. And literally, my head is full of chaos and war and depression and sadness. And the minute I start doing a Lego, all of that just silences. So it's like I am trying to spend money on things that actually genuinely I feel like I need or like want, instead of like being in that mindset. All right, you guys, now it is time for...
Yeah, so growing up without much, I mean, I also grew up without a lot. My mom got commodities and things and food stamps. She was on Social Security disability, which is like $880 a month. And there's a couple of different things that happen whenever you grow up that way. There's multiple things. Like, there's also a mindset of like, whenever you get something, like you keep a lot of things because you don't know if you'll be able to replace it, right? Like, people will save, like, whenever my mom passed away, when my brother and I went into the apartment to like clean it out and stuff, there were so many like Chinese food containers to use to store stuff, and it's kind of that mindset of, okay, well, I might need this later, so I'm going to keep it because you know, I don't want to need something and not have it. I'd rather have something and not need it. So that's another mindset. And my brother and I think our sister fell into that mindset, which is why her house was, I'm not going to get into it, but it was bad. Um, but just like not, not being able to let things go. Amberlynn is able to let things go. She donates a lot of stuff. Um, kind of the same thing like with like the Legos. I have a shit ton of comic books back here. I have Funko Pops. I have Legos. We couldn't afford those when I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult making my own money and I can afford them, if I want a Lego set, I'm gonna buy a fucking Lego set if I can afford it. Funko Pops. I'll buy a Funko Pop if I want it, if I can afford it. Um, Food. I have food in my pantry, like some canned stuff in case I, need to buy if I run out of groceries, at least I have a couple of cans of soup in my pantry. Um, so it's which is why it kind of surprising me that Amberlynn doesn't buy very many groceries at once. She only buys enough for like a few days. Um, because normally people that grow up without a lot of food and things will normally overbuy. Like Fiona's mom just says, I grew up hungry, so I overbuy food. Yeah, you buy too much, and I find myself doing that too. Because I'll be like, oh, I'll fix this, and this, and then I have all these groceries, and I'm not able to use them, right? So that's something that I still need to work on that, but it's because I I I overestimate how much I'm going to be using in that time period. So growing up in poverty and growing up, poor, um, can really affect you as an adult when it comes to your shopping habits, how you keep things, how you get rid of things, and yeah, there are whole studies done on this. Like this person mentioned the scarcity mindset. There are whole studies done on people that grew up in poverty and grew up poor and like how we function and handle things as an adult when it comes to purchasing, whether it's food or items or things like that. Um, yeah, it can really affect you as an adult. With how you do things. So it's like, okay, I want that, well, I'm gonna buy it now, right? Um, yeah, I probably shouldn't buy so many comic books, um, but I do. um, same thing with Legos. I have a really hard time letting go of things, like getting rid of things. I will donate stuff. I have boxes full of shit in my basement that I need to go through and get rid of. Because it's like, oh, I need this box. I might need this box to ship something in later. It's like, but I'd rather keep that box to ship something in than have to go to Walmart and buy a box. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into growing up that way and how you turn out as an adult.
For tea or tail.
Savor the sweeter things in life with Culver's new concrete mixers and lemon ice coolers made with fruity Skittles popped.
Ready to lose the hat and regrow the hair? With Choose by Hims, you can regain your hair and your confidence.
Amberlynn is dumb for not reading her oracle cards in the right order. So
Amberlynn is dumb for not reading her oracle cards in the right order. Is there an order you're supposed to read them in?
So oracle cards are super flexible. If you're doing like a more structured reading, like past, present, future, then yeah, you're probably going to want to read left to right. But I don't really do.
You would also pull those from the same deck. You wouldn't pull those from multiple decks.
It that way. Like oracle is super intuitive, so I just read them with like the energy and the message that is trying to come through. And sometimes that can be jumping around with the card. Sometimes the middle card is a bridge to the first one and the second one. They're all tied together some way. There's no wrong way of reading oracle as long as the reading and the interpretation feels authentic and meaningful. Amberlynn only showers and cleans in her vlogs to prove she can.
I don't know why people are so obsessed with Amberlynn's hygiene.
It is so crazy to me, so wild to me, that people are taking like everyday normal moments in someone's life and like creating an agenda behind it. Like literally over analyzing everything to the last detail. I do a lot of things that I don't vlog. I rarely ever show myself cleaning or showering, and those are things that I do on a day-to-day basis. And then it's like when I do show it, people make some conspiracy about it. It's so weird. Here's a little secret for you guys. I do not live life for my vlog. I simply just vlog my life. And sometimes that's going to be me showing you the bland, like the bland of the bland. Like, yo, just showered, how you doing? Like every vlogger that I watch talks about showering, talks about cleaning. But when Amberlynn does it, it's a whole like conspiracy and there's some sort of agenda behind it. And that's just like not the case. Cleaning and showering, it's nothing special. Every single person on this planet should be doing that. Amberlynn did the right thing by going to the hospital.
Yeah. Hey, Lizzie. Yeah, we're still here. We're almost done, though. Yeah, I mean, if Amberlynn did the right thing, we think about going to the hospital. If she was having pain in her chest, yeah, I mean, she should have gone.
About this so much in my Instagram DMs, and I have to agree with you guys. But I also noticed there was a large fraction of people that were like, bro, like that was so dumb. Like you should not be worried about chest pain. You should not be worried about an elevated D dimer. Listen, I want to make something very clear, and it's probably obvious. I have really bad health anxiety. It's literally the type of anxiety,
yes.
like most anxieties, like all anxieties, where you cannot control it. And even being rational during those times is almost impossible. Like while it's happening, you even wonder, am I being rational? Should I be worried about this? Should I have anxiety? Should I be scared? Should I be seen? Like it's just constant in your brain. But after being diagnosed with cancer and after everything that like surrounded that, if there is something health related wrong with me, I want it to be fixed. Like if something is wrong, I need to figure it out. Like a year ago, I was having like a few symptoms and I was an advocate for myself. And it turns out I had a 6 millimeter kidney stone. I probably still have it because there's nothing you can really do about it because it's literally in my kidney. It's not traveling yet. Sometimes your symptoms are nothing, but sometimes they are something. And I'm not invincible. Scary things can happen. I'd rather care about myself just enough than not care about myself at all. And I'm just
You need to care about yourself enough to work on losing weight a little more. That would probably help a lot of your health anxiety.
not going to be sorry for that.
Oh God, these
All right, you guys, it is time for bad choices. And look, this is how many we've done. I keep my pile over here. That is how many we've done during the series. Like, can you believe it? I don't know. 1, 2. I try to like get random. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Make sure they're all in the right way here. Alrighty, here we go. Have you ever had sex at work?
Oh, good grief. Why are so many of these about her sex life?
No. Have you ever lied about your weight on your driver's license? No. During sex, have you ever tried to finger someone's ass without their permission? No. What the hell? Would you marry a billionaire even if it meant you could never see your family again? It depends. Like, am I still able to talk to them? Because there has been obviously multiple times that I've lived in a different state. I didn't see my family, but I talk to them daily. If I'm allowed to talk to them, then yeah, because love is love, but I'm not marrying them just for the money. See, this question's weird. I would never marry someone just for money. I would never.
Well, that's kind of what the question is asking. Would you marry a billionaire? But it's kind of about their money, but you can't talk to your. This is stupid.
Or not see my family just for money. But if I found love and this person happened to be a billionaire, then yeah, but only if I can talk to them, FaceTime them, message them, and they're still in my day-to-day life. Have you ever pretended to be asleep while someone was having sex in the same room? Oh, I've been a teenager once, and I'm telling you, my friends were hecticana. That is all I'm gonna say about that. Wow, at the beginning of this video, I felt so sad. Like, you guys saw it. Like, I cried before this video. I just have a lot going on, okay? I cannot wait to start my medicine tomorrow, and I know it takes like 5 to 6 weeks to start working, but girl, it's gonna be.
Was that was a weird jump? It looked like that was weird.
You guys saw it. Like, I cried before this video. I just have a lot going on, okay? I cannot wait to start my medicine tomorrow, and I know it takes like 5 to 6 weeks to start working, but girl, it's gonna be in my body.
That was a weird cut. I don't know why there was a cut there, unless she paused for a really long time.
It's going to be doing its thing. It's going to be trying to work, And I just feel really hopeful. Positive changes are a coming. But anyways, I hope that you guys did enjoy this video, and thank you guys so much for just cheering me up a little bit, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
Yes, we so cheered you up by not even being there. Your husband's a teacher. Clearly you didn't marry for money. That's funny. Yeah, teachers are paid crap. They need to be paid more. They put up with a lot and have to deal with a lot. Teachers are not compensated nearly enough for what they put in because I mean they spend so much of their own money on supplies for the classroom. They put in so many hours after school just like doing grading or reading kids papers if they're an English teacher. I mean my brother was a math teacher. He would sit there and watch TV at night with his partner and grade math quizzes and math tests while watching TV. They put in so many hours after the fact. It's just they're not compensated nearly enough. Um, but yeah. So Amberlynn, well, that was a previous video. This video, and he has his master's in education. Yeah, he could do more somewhere. My brother stopped being a teacher and went into the administration because he got his master's in curriculum development. My brother retired early. Now he's doing contract work for the state, or for a statewide organization um, in Missouri. But um, yeah, they aren't nearly compensated enough. But um, yeah, Amberlynn, the last video was the Let's Talk. Some weird questions in there. I had a hard time hearing some of the questions from people. Um, that's okay. Yeah, so Amberlynn has hypothyroidism. She has to go on a Synthroid, a synthetic thyroid medication. We'll see how that works out because it'll take some time for that to kick in. But it is time for dinner for me. Um, and we will play some video games tonight and here in a little while after I have dinner and whatnot. But yeah, we'll see how things go. I really wish Amberlynn would, you know, she talks a big game. She's a lot of talk about her plans, her goals, what she's going to do, but we never see any execution. So hopefully one of these days we'll start seeing some execution. And yeah, I don't know. She'll probably get an endocrinologist and work with the endocrinologist to, check the thyroid levels after taking the medication for a while, and uh, they'll adjust her dosage as needed. I see mine once a year now. I need to get blood work done. It was supposed to be like a month ago, but I haven't gotten around to it. So yeah, but um, yeah, I think that's all we really have today. I need to get some dinner and hang out with y'all, playing some video games in a while. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful long weekend. I'm going to be out of town on Sunday. I'm taking my brother out for a birthday lunch, so I won't be around on Sunday. But yeah, I hope you have a good long weekend. If you're off on Monday, please be safe. If you're traveling, it's going to be a big travel weekend, so please be safe. And yeah, I just hope you have a good one. And until next time, be safe and take care.